Hello, I'm Toycat, and 4J Studios just announced the name of their brand new game they're working on in the Elements engine. It's going to be Reforge. They also shared some pretty interesting details about it, and even crazier yet, they invited myself and 6 other YouTubers up to Scotland to actually get hands-on time. That's right, I played the game, I have some fun screenshots to share with you. Yes, I'm very good at building, and also I'm eventually going to have some gameplay to share with you about this. This is a fascinating game, and let's talk about the announcement first of all, because this was 4J Studios announcing Reforge, and they shared this fun image. It's called a key art, and then they showed this animated version, and this is super important. A lot of the game's concepts are shown kind of cleverly or indirectly here. I want to come back to this later, but they also did announce a brand new Twitter specifically for the game. This kind of tells you they expect the game is going to be a big enough deal that it needs to make its own announcements, at least in my opinion. But yeah, the Reforge account has one little post so far, and in it they share 4 images of the game from very cinematic render points. As you can see in this first one, we have the character, who is, by the way, actually going to look like this. Yes, they have gone for a very unique looking character design with these weird kind of disjointed limbs. I think some people really love this, some people find it the opposite. It's controversial in that way, but it's very different to any other block building games, that's for sure, and it's also a very cool look at the vibe they're going for with the game, both in terms of the character, but also the rest of this background. Speaking of the character is going to unlock wings very early. Right now, in the build I am playing, you get it literally from the very beginning. The idea of wings as a, like a massive way to get around the world is something that is very true in lots of places. Having access to mobility is great, but having to work till the very end of the game to get that mobility doesn't feel as good as just saying, here is the ability to glide. You can't propel yourself or anything, but if you go to the top of a mountain, you can really enjoy the glide down as a result, something I think is great, and that is what's being shown right here with the main character gliding. Then we've got this shot of a cave. There are in fact cave biomes in this game. There's lots of other fun lighting things and whatnot, but for now just know, here's what caves can look like. And finally, we have this magnificent screenshot, and I really thought this one was nuts. Like, look at the amount of detail and the lighting and all this sort of stuff going in. This game is being made for current gen consoles. They are specifically targeting those at 60 FPS at very high resolutions, and they want to specifically make a game that looks good and takes advantage of that hardware, and you can really see that. This is a beautiful game, and now that I've gone through what Reforge announced, I can tell you what they said, maybe a little bit more during the demo time, and I can tell you what I learned during that. But first, I would like to give you a quick reminder while I'm here in Scotland that the Big Salmon plush, the little Toycat, but holding a big salmon, is currently out, and it's a way to celebrate the end of Big Salmon as an exclusive. And if you want to get your hands on this super unique thing, it is being produced once and once only. If this sells, I think it's at least 200 plushes, then they have the ability to put them into production, and after that point they will all ship. It will arrive in time for Christmas, and it means that it's a great opportunity to get a gift. It's a great opportunity to own a small piece of history of this channel, and if you want one, you can get this guy. If you're curious, he's gone on a real adventure, he got on a plane, I think he ordered himself a Bloody Mary on that, if I'm not mistaken. But also, as you can see, he made his way to Edinburgh, and yeah, he's been on a little bit of a travel recently. But you know who else has been travelling? Well, besides me, I'm in Dundee, Scotland now. I've got that great Scottish tap water here. But also at the exact same time, I should reference the fact that 4J have been on a bit of a journey, because in 2017, the first version of Minecraft console was replaced by Bedrock, and the writing was really on the wall at that point that eventually all of the console editions would be replaced. And so from 2019 onwards, they've been aware that, yeah, they need to be working on something else. And so this is where the early days of the Element engine kind of came into be, but eventually that Elements engine started to take form using their expertise from working on Minecraft console edition as a voxel-based building game engine. And so in the start, last year they announced the engine, but at the start of this year they started working on their game in it, and that game is Reforge. So Reforge is an absolutely fascinating game that is sort of set, so the very loosest way I can describe things looking at this is that it has a slight future bias to it, but it's set in an alternate world to ours, and in that alternate world there is these people that look like this, and they travel through the gateways that look like this. This is an incomplete gateway. This is actually going to be a gameplay mechanic eventually that will allow you to shift between different worlds within your world, which means that you can have these limited sized worlds that will exist on an individual plane, but say when an update comes out, instead of having to travel for thousands and thousands of blocks out to find that new terrain, you could make a new gateway to a brand new world. This also means that you could find a gateway specifically to a world that's really good for farming. You can make a new gateway to a world that's specifically really good for whatever else you're looking for, just it's beautiful terrain, so you can make a summer house there. You can do do whatever you want through these gateways, and you can have lots of them side by side. There's lots of fun late game mechanic systems that they're working on as like unique ideas like gems and sockets, and I think they all sound really great, and I'm so excited to play with those. But I think it'd be important to start with what did I actually play. Right now they are in a pre-alpha, I think is how they describe it. The next phase they're going to be working on is survival mode and fleshing that out. But survival mode does exist right now, and it is a really incredible time. I want to say that it's they're working on the bones of something that I think is going to be great, because you spawn into a brand new world that starts all around you, and then you have to work out what you're going to do. The obvious thing is you can chop down some trees, works interestingly and different by the way, and and then you can decide to use these to build a house and do all that sort of stuff. The creative mode is all of the same stuff as, you know, like the limitations of survival, but you have the ability of flying and you have an unlimited number of blocks, and this is something that lots of people just enjoyed like picking up and playing. A lot of people found themselves like just in a trance watching this, which is something that is a very good sign. If there's a game that you put out that has a game mode like that where people are just like, ooh, what's going on here? Super interesting. But yeah, 2 game modes, survival and creative, and both of them are what I played. I'll start with my experiences of just building around. Building in this game is really nice. I think this is going to be a hard thing to explain, but you know how on Bedrock you can place in front of the block that you're standing on without having to look back at the axis? They have taken that system and expanded it to... it's on steroids now, let's be honest. You can not only place a really long bridge out in front of you if you want to do it that way, but you can place underneath the block you're standing on, you can place to the side of a block that you're looking at, and basically you can place blocks a lot easier than any other block placing game I've ever seen out there. Super handy for building, but also you can sculpt blocks. So do you see, looking at this image right here, you can see there's some weird curvy trees, right? This isn't just a thing that spawns naturally. The whole world has some interesting slopes in there, which makes for a very unique stylistic decision. Every single block that exists so far is capable of being sculpted into a different shape. Do you want to turn it into a staircase? Stairs for every block, immediately available at launch. Do you want to turn it into a slab? Immediately available. You can do that sideways too and kind of make panels if you really want to. There's these really incredible things that you can do here that people have wanted forever in other block-based games like Minecraft, but because they're building their engine from the ground up, they can make sure they're just available from day one. And that, in my opinion, is the crucial pitch for Reforge. It's the fact that when you start making a game and immediately have to ship it, people have expectations about how things like stairs or slabs or whatever work, but when you're making it from scratch, you can just say, yeah, here are blocks, there is material, and then there is shape, and these things can be decided separately. Similarly, instead of having to mine every single block, you do go mining in this game. It's one of those fun survival characteristics. There are going to be some enemies you find, there's going to be some ores you find, or some fun things happening down there. Some it sounds like enemies are something they put a lot of work into, by the way, but as you're going underground, you can mine individual blocks if you want to, or you can use a slower mining tool that mines 3 blocks at a time. Just all these sorts of like smart, yeah, that makes the game so much easier. Things that you would consider if you were starting from the ground up is why I am excited about this game. So what did I do in it? What can I share with you screenshot wise? Well, first of all, here's me gliding. I think it looks much better when you see the 4K shot of it, but I didn't know that was going to be shared. This is one of the fun mechanics in the game that allows you to think, oh yeah, if I climb to the top of that mountain, it's going to be a real fun time on the way down. So that's one of the things I really love, climbing mountains and flying down them, and indeed just flying down in general. When you getting height in this game feels good because it means you're going to get a good glide, a good bit of altitude. Super fun. The second screenshot I have is me building a house. I actually echo shared this as I was making it. He's like, Toycat's in the zone. I thought that was super fun, and I want to just say that, yeah, a lot of people, again, just enjoy watching someone building in that certain way. And in fact, I saw at one point Mumbo picked up the controller. He doesn't play Minecraft at all on a controller, as best I can tell. But yeah, he picked up the controller, and just everyone's watching like, oh yeah, where's this gonna go? I think there's something really interesting about watching people play this game that is probably a good thing for a game that is going to hopefully have the reach of anything ever approaching Minecraft, right? Like a good game is one that you can play and enjoy, but also that you want to then see what other people are up to, and there are all sorts of ideas that might end up with, but right now it also looks just nuts and works that way. So the other thing is, here, this final shot is me building a house. I then built a tree in front of the house, just to kind of mess around with the building. You can build you know how you can build in a straight line in Minecraft, and it's like a really satisfying thing when you pull it off. Straight line, straight line, straight line. Same going vertically and then downwards, etc. You can do that diagonally in this game if you really want to. It is something that is just so well considered, and I love it because if you look at this game from the surface, if you just see these screenshots, you would assume that they were just like, yeah, what if we had Minecraft but with shaders built in and maybe some diagonals or whatever? But they have considered from the ground up, how can we solve fundamental problems that other voxel building games like Minecraft have? And just what I played, this super pre-alpha tells me that they have done an amazing job at solving those problems. Just the very early version I have says, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited therefore to see where this goes in the future. Right now, I can tell you that I will be able to share my gameplay of it. It's going to be on Tuesday that I'll be able to do that, and I have so much that I am excited to dump on you. I've got so much that I want to share, but for now, let me just finish by saying that this is 4J Studios' newest project. It is something that is kind of cool to see, that they're a game development studio that started, you know, like working on stuff and then eventually porting stuff, and then eventually making the ultimate portable time. Perhaps the most sold portable time. I would hazard a guess that that's entirely possible. It sold 23 million units on console, on Xbox 360 alone. It sold 70 million units across all the consoles, and over 250 million units of you know, skin packs, texture packs, masher packs, etc. They have one of the most popular ports of all time, and now they're moving into making their own thing. And rather than just being like, yeah, if we just make a weird Minecraft knockoff that works on consoles, then people might buy it, they're like, no, we're making our whole own thing with our whole own setting, with our whole own set of fixes and things that we would have done if we were starting from scratch. And so that is what makes me excited, is seeing that they could have rested on their laurels, but they're trying something huge. I can even imagine they're betting the farm on it, right? They're like, they are spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort making something over a multi-year process. But that is what we're going to see. So when can you play it? I know there's an annoying thing about, like, you watch a video and a YouTuber's like, so I got to do this thing. And then it's like, but if you can't do it, what's the point? There's a part of you watching this video, like Toycat, you're explaining this game and it sounds so great, but you're not showing it to us, and also we can't play it. What's the point of that? Well, like I said, I'll be showing it to you on Tuesday, but also you'll be able to play this yourself sometime in 2025. It's not going to be coming out fully then, to be clear. I imagine they're going for a game that they can develop and update over time, but the earliest, smallest slice of the game will be available to some small select group of players in 2025. I can just, that's how they describe it to me. I imagine that means like early access, sort of like a it's not going to be called alpha, they say that way, but some form of early version of the game to get some you know, real feedback is what they're going to do. Because one of the important things that 4J is kind of learning from other games like Minecraft is this idea of getting early community involvement so they can work out what's fun and what path to go down. You know, they've got a plan for the game, but obviously if people really like this certain feature, they can make sure that they focus on what makes it fun, and this is a really great thing, because otherwise you get game studios that go super far down the line and they realize that the game just isn't very enjoyable at the end of the lengthy development process. By involving the community early, hopefully they can avoid that. Anyway, speaking of involving the community, I've enjoyed my time up here in Scotland. If you're curious as to what I'm up to, really enjoyed it. They have this like aqua park outside the 4J Studios office, so I went in there, definitely really impressed some people with my skills, but yeah, in general I've had a very good time up here. I always enjoy coming up to Dundee, Scotland, but also I want to say that I have, beyond that, this fun little experience that I'd like to maybe share, because I know a lot of you are going to have questions. So if you have anything you want to ask about this game, ask it in the comments and I'll try to answer those, and then maybe you can learn a bit more of the things where, like, it's such an obvious question but I'm not thinking right now, because I am in a hotel room. Not for long though, I'll be heading up with Dennis the Menace, weirdly enough, actually. Although maybe to some of you that's not Dennis the Menace. There's a fun thing about that that I'll have to go into another time, just like how I'll have to go into the fact that Big Salmon is available now. Get your hands on it while you can, because it soon won't be available ever again. Or maybe not for the first time if we don't hit 200. So go support the campaign, go support this video with a like, favorite, subscribe, or whatever people say at the end of their videos, because this one is done and so are you and me. Goodbye.